few things to think about before you raise the cab. Make sure your park brake is pulled out. The air hydraulic pump will not operate unless the park brake is engaged. The truck's been running, so we have approximately 120 pounds of air pressure, which should be plenty to raise and lower the cab without leaving the truck running. Make sure that you're not on a steep uphill incline with the cab facing uphill, because when you raise the cab, it may not go forward enough to go past its balancing point, and that is where the safety is to keep the cab up. It actually goes past its balancing point, and then the weight holds it up. So you want to make sure you're not on an uphill incline so the cab doesn't have enough travel to get past that balancing point. Another thing you want to do is make sure that your doors are closed tightly. You don't want those swinging open when you raise the cab. Could damage the hinges and the mechanism that stops them from swinging out all the way. Third thing you want to think about is make sure nobody's in the cab when you raise it. You don't want anybody in there. You also don't want any loose objects in the cab, because they could slide forward when the cab's tilting, break your windshield. So I have this shelf in the back with my charging stuff on it. I got some batteries charging up there right now, so we'll take those down. And I'm gonna trust that this magnet, oh, you know what? Well, I trust it. I'm gonna take this flashlight down. Okay, so if nothing that will fall forward and hit the windshield, put this stuff up in the front shelf. Another thing you also want to make sure before you raise it is you don't have anything sitting on your front bumper, like a can or a bottle. There's the hydraulic control valve. We want cab tilt on raise, and we want the selector on cab tilt. It has truck suspension, cab tilt, and spare. You want that on cab tilt. And then you simply push in this pump button. As you jack the cab up, the first thing that happens is the safety pin pushes out from hydraulic pressure going into the latch. Then as the cab moves forward, you will notice at some point it goes past the balancing point. You'll kind of see it shift a little bit. Right there. That's past the balancing point. You can hear the air pump working easier. So now that it's past its balancing point, it's not going to come back down unless, of course, you're on that steep uphill incline. This is not a safety latch lever. It does not go straight. If you don't have adequate air pressure to raise the cab with the air over hydraulic pump, then you can do it with the backup hydraulic pump here. Or you may just want to exercise the backup hydraulic pump system and run it through its cycle just to check it, make sure it's working. Or you may just want to do it to exercise yourself. When you're raising, it's not going to move right off. It's going to take a few pumps. Right there you can see it just went past its balancing point, and that's at about 150 pumps. About 175 pumps to get it all the way up. To lower the cab, simply select lower, make sure you're on cab tilt, push the button. You can see see it came past its balancing point on the way down. At that point, you can stop pumping with the air and it will slowly lower just from the weight of the cab pushing the fluid through the system. The manual says that if you have full pressure in your tanks, it should be enough to raise and lower the cab twice without the vehicle running. The last thing that happens when the cab is lowered is the safety pin going in under spring pressure to lock the cab down while the hydraulic pressure in the system diminishes.